In this video, let's talk about goals and why they matter in Google Analytics. Now, first, a couple of fun tips about goals. They only are achieved once per session. So when a visitor, when one of your users goes into your site and maybe achieves a goal, like let's say becomes a lead, and that's a goal that you might have, it'll trigger that goal once, but only once. If they sign up again in that same session, it will not trigger. So very important that you realize that. You also have some limitations on goals. You can only have 20 goals in a view. So in a view of your data, you can only have 20 goals, but there are 25 different views that you can set up in Google Analytics. So while there are limitations, it's still an awful lot of goals that you can use. It is true that you cannot delete a goal once it's created. A very important point. You cannot delete a goal once it's created because it's got data associated to it in the back end of Google Analytics. However, you can stop them. You can pause them, and you can hide goals from your reports. So you can make it look like essentially it was deleted if you really needed to. So very, very powerful feature when it comes to goals. Now in Google Analytics, the way to set up goals, you're going to go into your admin section, you'll go into whatever view that you're looking for, and you'll click where it says goals, and then you'll have a button to set up new goals. Now in this case, I'm actually using the Google Merchandise Store account, so I don't have the permissions to set up goals, but I want to show you the goals that they have set up. Very first thing to think about is what should be a goal? Well, really, you think about it in terms of the pipeline and the stage of the process that your users are going through in your own customer journey, whatever that is for you. In this case, Google started it first by saying, well, we've got engaged users, that could be a goal. Then maybe they register their account, then they check out, then they complete a purchase. So these are sort of the main stages that they wanted to measure. So the way that they did engaged users is they come in here, we click on details, they're using pages per screen or session. And in this case, they're saying if it's 10 or more. So if it's greater than 10 or more, then go ahead and trigger this goal. And that's what would actually have that goal trigger. If you come into the enter checkout process, they actually said, well, you know what, if there's a bunch of different pages that they hit, if they hit any of these pages, we're going to say they entered the checkout process, and that's going to trigger that goal. It's something called a destination goal that you can use in Google Analytics. Another one they did was purchases completed. So the purchase completed goal, that is when they hit the order completed page, triggers the goal. But interestingly enough, they also added a funnel option here. So in destination goals, you can actually create funnels, and you just put in this different steps, the name of the funnel here, the name of the step, and then how does Google Analytics know that step was achieved? In this case, when these pages were viewed by the user, it triggers these different steps in the funnel. Now, this goal itself happens every single time somebody hits, in this case, the order completed page, but these funnels are used by two very specific reports, the goal flow report and the funnel visualization report, and they actually build out a visual funnel so you can see how people are actually achieving this goal that came in from Basket. So it's a really, really cool feature in Google Analytics. There are also two other types of goals that are available in Google Analytics. One is called event goal. It's a little more complicated. You do have to set up events in Google Analytics, but if you have those already, then you can set up an event goal that triggers when certain events happen. For example, when somebody scrolls halfway down the page. And there are also duration goals, which are essentially time-oriented goals. So if somebody spends a time on session of at least 5 minutes or something along those lines, you would trigger that goal. So I want to show you exactly how to set these goals up so you can see where that is. I've actually just switched accounts to our ConversionXL account here. We're going to click on where it says New Goal. And so that you can see these, we've got these 4 different types. Now you saw 2 types. You saw the destination goal examples, you saw the pages per screen example, but know also that you can do duration goals. And duration is exactly that. It's just how long somebody's staying on the page in the session, and then when it hits a certain point, then it'll go ahead and fire that particular goal. The other one that you can set up, which is really interesting, is called event. Now this is a little more complicated. You see there's a lot more stuff here, and you will use these, but you can only use these if you are firing events into your Google Analytics. So this is the type of goal that requires setup to have already happened prior. But as long as you have events coming into your Google Analytics reports, and you can find those in the behavior section, in the events reports that are in the behavior section of your Google Analytics. Those events can be associated to goals. This is where you might say, okay, when somebody scrolls halfway down, go ahead and fire a goal. So this is the event itself. Otherwise, what you're going to want to do is we'll click on New Goal here, set up destination goals. So they are, do a little test here. So very, very easy to set up, equals to, begins with, regular expression, a little more advanced, but definitely useful. So you could say, hey, if it begins with, ConversionXL, go ahead and trigger the goal. So whatever the page is for you, but this is something that you want to be able to play around with to figure out Number one, planning out your goals. So what should be a goal? Think in terms of your customer stages. And then how does Google Analytics know that that happened, right? And that's where you would figure out these different types of goals that are here and then figure out, okay, this is how I can tell Google Analytics that they hit this particular stage or this particular goal. And that is the overview of how to use goals in Google Analytics.
How are you actually using this information to improve your own marketing efforts? I would love to know what you're doing. Just leave a comment below, let us know. Also, if you like this video, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the CXL channel. That way you're notified whenever a new video is available.